Hey, haven't done one of these in a while. I even replaced the ancient Yukimura picture. I just wanted to talk about 2019 in review. I think it was a pretty fruitful year for me in terms of content creation. I had a lot of successful games that I covered and everything, but my personal life was just a mess last year. I lost my grandpa, multiple cats, just tons of doctor visits from my anxiety symptoms. I'm kind of like dealing with that again right now. It's just been a lot of stress. I don't know how I made it through last year, to be perfectly honest with you. There were a lot of times I wanted to give up. As you know, about 2 months ago, I just stopped self loathing completely, and it has been a great help. I remember that I am appreciated on here. I know that I work very hard. I deserve what help I get. I also deserve to ask for help when I need it. Those are great changes that I've made, kind of behind the scenes to help me keep doing this. I have to admit, if I got more Patreon backers, I think things would be more stable. The past few months have been pretty good. I've kind of got lucky with some of the games that I've covered lately, like Orochi 4 Ultimate, Critica, a couple other games like that. Actually got some good views, so my ad revenue has been relatively consistent. However, it usually isn't. Patreon is definitely what allows me to buy at least one $60 game every week. Not every week, but every month. I don't know what I'm going to be doing next year or this year to really change things. Obviously, it's kind of an awkward time in the gaming industry right now. Obviously, the new consoles are on the way. Uh, I shouldn't really need to upgrade my PC much. The next thing I was planning on doing is probably a new CPU. I think maybe going up to an i7 would probably be good, just to future-proof my PC further. I did upgrade to a 2060 RTX back in the summer, so I think for GPU I'm probably fine. I don't really see myself getting a new console right at launch. They would have to announce something crazy like, I don't know, a console exclusive like Muso Game or Basar or something to really get me on board. I have a pretty strong feeling that or hunch that the PS5 is probably not going to launch with much of anything. Development costs are already through the roof on the PS4 right now. Like pretty much the entire HD era. It's just cost more and more time and money to make a game. Now, most of the stuff that I play is not like the big AAA stuff, but they need those kinds of games. Despite me not having any interest in them, they need those kind of games to entice people to buy the new console. So I'm going to be watching it closely. I have a feeling it's probably going to cost quite a bit more too. As you know, the PS4 they greatly skimped with. It's mostly the CPU is probably the worst part of the PS4's components. That and the Blu-ray drive. I find it kind of funny that people are still like super adamant about getting like physical copies of PS4 games when it literally is just a key to play the game. It's really not that much different from having a digital copy these days because you still have to install all of the data onto your hard drive, which I think is crazy. That completely defeats the purpose of buying a physical copy for me. I hope that they'll have a better Blu-ray drive in there so that it won't be as necessary to install things. I think the whole installation of games was probably at its best with the Xbox 360, where it was optional, but it would almost always lead to faster load times. On the PS4, it's pretty much mandatory. So, I bought Kingdom Hearts 3 off that sale for $17. I didn't really think it was a game I would like that much. I'm not really much of a Kingdom Hearts fan in general. I never really played any of the final mixes either, so that's part of it. But I bought that, and it was like 37 gigs, and the red box over by CVS and Chick-fil-A in my town had it for like $12, and I just decided to get it digitally because there's like no difference. I hope that the PS5 will actually evolve things further. I don't really think that the PS4 was as much of a generational leap as it should have been, mainly because they skimped on the CPU and it's just not capable of handling 60 FPS on most games. And the games that it does target it often doesn't stay there for a consistent period of time. I don't really know what I'll be doing. Apparently, they're skipping E3, which I think is kind of odd because the thing's supposed to be coming out in like 10 months and there's like barely any information about it. They're really going to have to start hauling ass and announcing some games and having actual gameplay, not just like CG trailers and stuff to really get people interested. I have a feeling that things like pretty much the next generation of fighting games and Muso games and Basara are probably all going to be moving towards PS5. However, Koei historically has always stayed on the last generation for a really long period of time. They really only have a couple games on the PS4 that are not backwards compatible or backported to the PS3, or rather, they're upported from the PS3 to the PS4. So I don't really think I'll have much of a reason to update or upgrade right away. I'd love to be proven wrong. In the event that I do, I probably will have to do a donation drive for one, but I don't really think there's much really going on the next few months. A lot of people have come in and asked me like what my favorite game of the year was and what games am I excited for. Honestly, right now they haven't announced much of anything. One Piece is the next big game that I'll be doing. I am on the list for Warriors Orochi 4 Ultimate, so I will be getting that on PC. And that's also when I'll be playing that game more. I have not dropped the game. It's just the combination of the shitty frame rate, the RNG in the ultimate mode, or what's it called, infinite mode, and waiting for the patch just kind of made me put it on the back burner. And I'm only a few weeks away from getting the PC version. Koei Tecmo America, the social media rep, he usually gets me the games about 2 weeks before they release. So we're looking at probably roughly the beginning of February. So in about 2.5 weeks or so is when I will be getting the game. So I figure if I have to start over anyway, I should probably limit how much I play the Switch version. My intention with the Switch version was pretty much always to just get out the guides and the overviews early, so that you guys could get have a more educated purchasing decision and more information, and then just immediately migrate over to the PC version. Full disclosure, I'll probably be using Cheat Engine to get past the story mode anyway. I think the story mode in Warriors Orochi 4 in general is just not fun to play. It just drags on and on. There's tons of padding and stuff, and the real fun of the game is in infinite mode. I'm interested to see what the patch is actually going to introduce. They said that they're going to make the deity sacred treasures usable by all the other characters, meaning all the mortal characters. And then there's supposed to be some tweaks to infinite mode and a couple other things as well. I've been kind of waiting on that. I will definitely do a patch overview for that when it comes out. But for all intents and purposes, I'm probably not going to be playing it more until release. 'Cause you have to keep in mind, I played the Switch version for like 70 hours, which is like more than I played the the what's it called, the PC version by like 8 to 10 hours. So I definitely got my money's worth out of it. I just feel like I'll enjoy it more. A, when the patches are available, and B, when it's running at a not terrible frame rate. So I don't really want people to feel like I let them down or I abandon the Muso community. It's just kind of a unique situation for me because the game was available in English on the same day as Japan, and I got that big donation to cover it in full. And I covered pretty much all aspects of the game right now. There's nothing really else to do about it. I did look at Persona 5 Scramble. Someone put up a 2 hour, I think it was like an officially sanctioned gameplay video, and and thinking there's like maybe a half an hour of gameplay in that 2 hour video, which is not good for me. I'm not a Persona fan at all. I don't like turn based combat. I'm not really big into story heavy games. The combat actually looks pretty cool, but it's giving me bad PTSD from Astral Chain, which I hated and had too much talking and walking, and just the gameplay itself wasn't that great either. I'll look and see if I can get a key. I don't know if it's going to be published by KTA or not. I think it's actually published by Atlas, which means I would have to go through them. And that greatly reduces my chances. And also, if I ever wanted to get anything from them again and I dislike that game, then I pretty much would be just digging myself into a corner. So I don't know if I'll be playing that. One Piece I will be getting for sure. I will attempt to get a key for that, but I don't have any connections at Namco, so I would basically be having to start from scratch. I will be getting it regardless. My birthday is actually a week before it comes out, so with birthday funds, I should be able to get it. I don't know how I'll be financially then. Right now, my kitty sitting job is coming to an end by the end of this week. Not the end of this week, but the end of this month. Meaning I won't have as much extra money coming in. That extra money has has funded a lot of games and stuff for this channel. You don't even know. Even things like some of the KOF All Stars content, some of the Honkai Impact Third content, numerous games. It's been a great boon for me running this channel. My neighbor is still going to need help performing certain tasks and going grocery shopping and stuff. So I will still be making extra money from that, but I have to admit I will need more Patreon funds in the near future. Right now, I think my PC's in a pretty good spot. I could probably go with a GPU, CPU update. My CPU upgrade is probably not necessary anytime soon. But I wanted to thank people for sticking around. 2019 and me was, for me, at least in terms of the channel, was very experimental. I experimented with a lot of things I don't normally do. I kind of got back into service games a little bit with Critica, some other games. I played Bloodstain. Bloodstain performed really well for me, which was kind of odd. I wasn't really expecting people to accept something that was not completely a stylish action game and things. But I want to kind of explore more genres, not really things that I don't normally play, but things I don't normally feature on the channel. Things like Mega Man, like Mega Man games are very influential for me. Some of my favorite games when I was younger. Ninja Warriors, once again, I want to go back and probably get a 1cc. I don't have any video proof of that besides a what's it called? A little short 30-second clip. I actually got the 1cc at my neighbor's house. I do want to go back and do some other things. I did purchase some new things like Darksiders Genesis, Hades. I also got Kingdom Hearts 3. I've heard a lot of bad things about Kingdom Hearts 3, but apparently the expansion is supposed to make things a little better. Unfortunately, I do not have a PS4 Pro, and this late into the console generation, I don't really see myself getting one. So the frame rate will probably be pretty bad, but I might check that out casually too. But I'm probably not going to start it until the update comes out and see if the game's better. It's probably not something I would play more than once, so I'd prefer to wait until the update's out. Apparently, they're adding like new stuff to the skill tree and things like that, so it's probably wiser to wait at this point. I did try to get Final Fantasy 15, but it ran terribly on my computer. I spent a ridiculous amount of hours last week trying to get it working. I ended up deleting it and giving up. Apparently, if it's on sale on what's it called, the Microsoft Store or Origin, it runs fine on there. I kind of wanted to try the multiplayer expansion on there. So probably my next backlog project will probably be Tales of Vesperia. I need to finish some other things first, and then once I get to that, I'll probably go back and finish that. I had a lot of problems with crashing with Vesperia on the Switch. It crashed like 4 times in a row on me in Cave Mock, which is one of the beginning Act 1 dungeons, and it just really pissed me off. I just couldn't enjoy the game. They actually fixed that recently, a couple months ago, so I plan to go back to that. Mostly just try to rotate in some new things. It's kind of an awkward period right now. Like I said, like there's not going to be that many big games coming out for current gen consoles. Even big niche games like Muso games and stuff. I think a lot of that is kind of on the decline right now. Everybody's obviously trying to get stuff out for the PS5 because they can't really afford a shitty launch. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like double the price of the PS4 if they're actually going to put good components in it this time and not skimp on important stuff like the Blu-ray drive and the CPU. It's probably going to be quite expensive, so I'm sure they want to ensure that they have a nice variety of games for all people who enjoy all genres. Like I said, most things are getting ported to PC now. I think my PC's in a pretty decent spot to play PS5 games. Hopefully, by the time that something interesting is announced, I'll probably be able to do a fundraising drive or something and probably get like an i7 or an i9 or something, and then I would probably be set for a while. I hope you guys will bear with me. I know I haven't uploaded the best content lately. I've been on and off with my depression. Pretty much every month, something terrible has happened to me last year, and I'm still kind of recovering from it. Mental health is it's really hard to manage, especially when you work from home. You don't really have anybody else to really do work for you. You can't really call in sick, so to speak. I'm the only person that can do this stuff, and it does make things difficult. So I'm glad you guys have stuck around. I would like to believe I still put out a lot of good content last year. Right now, this year's plans are kind of in jeopardy because not really financial, but just not really a whole lot has been announced. There hasn't been a Nintendo Direct in several months. I hope that they'll announce some new things. I'm kind of holding out for the Switch Pro. Honestly, I think mine is probably on the way out. The battery life is rapidly declining. I'm kind of just holding out until they announce a new one so I can trade that one in and get a new one. But yeah, thank you guys for sticking around. I'm definitely going to be working on some backlog. I have some new indie games on the way. Super Crush KO comes out in a few days. I'll be doing an overview on that. And then from there, I'll probably just be working on backlog stuff. So if you want to help me out, you can go ahead and let me know, like, what was your favorite project that I covered last year? Obviously, this year I haven't really done anything too crazy just yet, but last year I had a wide variety of games. So go ahead and let me know, give me some feedback. If you want to support me, my links are in the description. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for understanding how hard it is to manage my mental illness sometimes. I've definitely made a lot of progress in that end, but unfortunately, it's still something that's it's a lifelong thing to improve. I'm proud of the improvements that I've made. I'm proud that I've stayed, diligent, still dedicated to this, and still running it every day. But I may need to take breaks more often, which may mean more stream VODs, may more mic-free content and things like that, depending on how I'm feeling. So thanks for understanding. I'll catch you guys later, and Happy New Year. Peace.